and welcome to the Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories. Well, it is said that some people dream of success, but there are others who wake up and work hard for it. And those are who we call achievers, who inevitably become leaders and an example for others to follow. And today we have with us one such exemplary leader. Well, I'm Deepthi Diwan, your host, your anchor for today. And through this initiative of ET Edge, indeed, it's time to engage in a candid conversation with our guest about his personal and professional journey, his interests, his source of ideas or motivation. All this and more in this chit chat video series with some cutting chai. Today, we have with us Mr. Neilmani Sahu, Head of IT at JSW Paints. Mr. Sahu, welcome to the ET Cutting Chai Stories.
Thank you. Thank you, Deepthi.
We got a sense that you're so busy with your work, sir. So before we talk about work, let me ask you a refreshing question, and nothing can get more refreshing than tea. So you've lived in Mumbai, you've studied here. So do you like Mumbai's quintessential cutting chai? Has it been a part of your life as a student, as a professional who's working? And what else do you like about being in Mumbai, for that matter?
Okay, so tea, I think the name itself, it brings togetherness in people. I mean, whenever we talk about tea, whether it is in office, college, or in home, it actually gives us that togetherness. Now, it is a time to unwind, and also it is a time when a lot of these memories that get, the binding between people happens during the tea time. So, you're right. Being in Mumbai, we are used to these different places in canteen or when you are in office premises. I mean, who can miss out all those precious moment? I mean, to me, if I can take an, visualize the different precious moment, whether in my college life or in my professional life, the different moment, if, I assume them to be precious pearls, and if I collect them together, and then tea is playing the role of a string which keep them together like a beautiful necklace. So that's the importance.
Well, very well said there, sir. We all know about your work and all your accomplishments at work. And you've played leading roles with some great brands. You've been with PricewaterhouseCoopers, with Aditya Birla, with Staples India, Kaya Limited, and now with JSW Paints. It is said that creative thinking is the lifeblood of any organization. So in every organization that you've been to, how do you encourage it within that company to keep the new ideas coming while you were at all these places? How did you ensure that there's constantly a churning of new ideas?
Well, to me, creativity is something which we human beings are blessed with. I'll take you, through an observation that I had. I was there in a park and I saw a small child riding on a tricycle, and this chap, I think the cycle was bigger for him, so he couldn't ride it properly, and at one point it tipped. So when it tipped, in a tricycle, it rests on one of the wheel and the other wheel is rotating. So the child sat on that rotating wheel, and he was enjoying that moment. So the learning that you have from observation like this is, while he was finding it difficult to ride that tricycle, he was experimenting. So he experimented, he found a new method, and then he started enjoying, discovering new method. And that's all about different, how idea actually start getting into people. Now if I take this example to office premise, in office also we have this habit of this 9 to 5 job, wherein we are tied up with our activities. Now in office, if we identify the repetitive mundane activities that people do which don't add value, you cut down on some time of their, which can be used for experimentation. Like the child experimented, he found out new methods, and then with this discovery, new ideas, that's how the chain happens, and that's how things move for me. This has worked for me, and nobody has that luxury of having more manpower to do their work. We'll have to manage with the constrained resources. I think this has really worked for me. It's going good.
Great. So you do in your own way as a leader encourage some sort of experimentation
Yes.
with the employees
Yeah.
in your company.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a great learning for everyone. And so let's go down memory lane a little bit. When you were growing up, did you grow up in Mumbai also? And what were you like, back in school, back in college? Were you a shy person, or were you, the extroverted sort? So could you please tell us, did you have different passions also? Or did you were always clear that this is what I want to do?
Okay, so in my childhood, of course, I was shy, and I was curious. I mean, most of the time, I was curious to understand things how and why they work. Now this curiosity actually switched on the learning mode in me, and that still continues even after doing my MBA, post graduation. I'm still learning. So that curiosity and this learning mode actually, which I still continue. And I never thought that I will become a head of IT, but then uh, I went with the flow. And luckily, in IT, you need that learning mode on all the time. So that's how it happened.
Okay. Well, great. And did you have any role models or any mentors back then, or you just learned from different people in your life?
Yeah, I think role model, in my childhood, it was just observation around and learning from those observations.
Okay. Well, great. So, very curious person, and that I'm sure has helped you in your career, because you have to be curious to keep growing and keep learning. So we would like to know one thing from you. What are the qualities that are very important for you as a person in your personal life and in your work life? And for example, when you're faced with two equally qualified candidates, how do you determine whom to hire? How will you make that decision now? Of if you have to choose only one person, how would you determine that this is the person I'm going to hire?
Okay, so two qualified or rather equally qualified people, I think I answered this sometime back about myself. I will pick up a person whose learning mode is on, still on.
Hmm. Okay, so someone who is very curious and is always looking at learning.
Yeah, because see, the learning is something is gaining knowledge. The moment you get knowledge, you start experimenting, then you start discovering few new things, and you get new ideas, and then you evolve. So that's the cycle that I have seen working. So
Okay. Great, sir. So let's talk about the pandemic. So pre-COVID to post-COVID, has your approach towards your work, towards your life and family and the community in general, has it changed, or is it pretty much the same?
no, I think to me, I think things have changed. Not only to me, I think the family and the community also. I would like to elaborate this with an example. What used to happen pre-COVID is we used to visit our doctors. We take an appointment, we break that traffic jam and reach our doctor place. We wait for the doctor, for our turn to come. Then we complete the thing and we come back with medicines. I think pre-COVID this was the scenario, and when we actually got into COVID, what happened is all these things got online. We could choose the doctor that we want to meet anytime, anywhere. We can, through our mobile phone, interact with a hospital or a doctor. And I think this is a step change that I see that started happening. And in the field of medicines, this is something in my earlier organization as well in Kaya. A lot of experimentation were done around online thing. So this is a step change that I see post COVID. But having said that, I will just try and take this forward. Uh, so while we are very good at doing this, the front end interfaces, which is easier to achieve, like ordering a pizza on time or getting our ice creams delivered on time, and similarly getting the medicines together, on time, having a consultation with the doctor online. But the saddest part is during COVID, there are a lot of loss in life, and the reason for that is the back end. When after you have taken an appointment with the doctor, what actually you do next? You look out for a hospital, bed availability, oxygen cylinders. So all these things that are there, unfortunately, right now they are not integrated to the front end. So while we are very good at integrating the front end, very slightly lagging in the back end. So the current status we have is technologically happy. Yeah, technologically happy. To me, I feel that we'll be technologically blessed the moment we have the backend also integrated. Now, imagine a person who is in need in emergency is being picked up by a drone ambulance. Identified a location where there is bed and the necessary amenities of oxygen and other things are available, and it lands there at the shortest possible time. And to me, I think we'll reach the next level of technological bliss, when this front end and back end, totally is integrated.
Absolutely. And so, has there been any change in your leadership style from pre-COVID days to post-COVID days?
Yeah, it's there has been a change. I think, as I mentioned, because there is a step change, the front end is moved differently than the back end. The lagging back end needs to be taken in place, and for that there are a lot of this machine interfaces. So now what has started happening is we have talked about having machine to machine talking enabled. Then we are talking about robotic process automation. So now we are going to have a workforce where we'll have human and virtual, machines, virtual people also as a workforce. So I think the management style need to change to manage this hybrid and set of people. So that's how the management style will change now.
Absolutely. We all have to adapt to that. And overall, when you look at your career, the way it has shaped out, so how much of a role has luck played as a factor in your life, or has it just been about your work, your qualifications, and your experience?
I mean, to me, it's just qualification, experience is something, to which luck follows. So luck is an effect to the cause, which is the qualification, experience, and the hard work that one put together. So it's been like that. So this is cause and effect rather than any magic wand happening to people. So
Right. And so, in your teams, in your work environment as a leader, how do you measure success? What is that one thing that makes you say yes? That
yeah, so we all have heard this phrase that success is not a destination, success is a journey. Now to me, the journey becomes interesting, and you tend to achieve in a journey when you achieve the milestone in journey. For instance, you go out on a trip, and you enjoy that trip, and you are happy in that trip. So what happens is that motivates you to go to the next level. Now, if I take this scenario of a journey or a visit to a place, to the workplace, you have a team, you achieve your target, and once you achieve your target, that's not the end of it. What keeps you going on is actually the experience and the enjoyment that you have done in achieving that success. So to me, the more you enjoy your task, the more you will repeat your success, and that's how I see success. And for measuring success, it's very important to measure the enjoyment that one has had while achieving that.
Hmm. Wow, what a great learning for all the viewers and those who look up to you. And what is the best way to build a great team? I think
Yeah,
similar.
so let's break this word into two parts. I think team. Now, first is let's talk about team. Now, what are team made up of? Team is made up of people, individuals, and every individual is unique. Let's talk about a cricket team. So, what happens in cricket is you have different roles. You have a batsman, you have a bowler, you have a fielder, you have a wicket keeper. Now, these are the different roles that you have in a team, which coordinates and get a result. Right now, this is the work of a team. And how do you make a great team out of it is uh, by caring about every individual. Like a bowler, for instance, you have a bowler, and this bowler, you care about the bowler, you show some compassion towards the bowler. What it does is it helps in strengthening his strength, and can focus on the weakness. What happens is each of these role then start performing to the max level. Now, similarly to a batsman, to a fielder, to a wicket keeper. So, like in a cricket, you have to work on each of these personas or different actor and to make them work. What happens ultimately, the end goal is you achieve success, and a great team would deliver. Now, if I take this example to workplace in IT, you will have different roles, like you'll have infrastructure manager, you have application manager, then you will have your business analyst. So all these are different roles, and the moment you show some compassion and caring to these people, what happens is, the strength increases and the weakness are being worked on with some skill set, and ultimately they also start delivering, like a team. So that's what makes the team great
Hmm.
to me.
Absolutely. So, what a great analogy to use, and what a great message that if all the cogs in the wheel work well, then the destination is easier to reach. Thank you so much, sir. And sir, let's do a quick, fun, rapid fire. So, without much thinking, you have to quickly tell us the answers in one word. Are you
Okay.
ready?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, favorite city in the world?
Mumbai.
Okay. Favorite food item?
It's a South Indian dish. It's uttapam for me.
Oh, lovely. Wow. Favorite leader or role model?
One of my ex-boss, Mr. Russell Berman.
Okay. And are you a morning or evening person?
I'm an evening person. It's evenings are light, mornings are a bit tight and scheduled.
Yes. And favorite hobby or interest?
Listening to music,
Okay, great. Planning your life or going with the flow?
going with the flow. I love
Yes, I think I sense that from the conversation. Fill in the blank. Life is incomplete without
compassion.
compassion or
Yes,
passion. Okay. Given a choice, would you like to go back in time or see the future?
see the future definitely.
Okay. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Okay, I just have to group the earlier words. I would start with get better, be simple, and be compassionate.
Okay, lovely. Rank in order of preference the qualities that you look for in your team: discipline, meeting deadlines, coming up with ideas or creativity, and communication skills.
I think in the order of preference, first is the communication. If you
Hmm.
have communication, I think then any idea that comes to your mind is, second in order. And third, I believe, is would be discipline. And then if you are disciplined, then you will definitely meet timelines.
Wow, great. And of course, all this with a very curious mind. And lastly, sir, what is that one message or any tip that you would like to share with the youth who look up to you, who want to follow in your footsteps?
To me, I think every individual is unique, and they just should follow what their heart says. But then, what has actually worked for me is, switching on that learning mode and caring and caring about people. So I
Hmm.
think these two things have, shaped up my life and career. So other than your natural flair, these are a couple of things that has actually worked for me. So might work for similar nature.
Okay. So let me rephrase that. You said learning, constant learning, like a curious mind,
Right.
and compassion towards others.
Compassion and caring. So
Yes. And so from your conversation, I got a great sense that you are a very, very big team player, that you always, love to encourage others. And indeed, on a personal level also, there have been a lot of great learnings from this wonderful interview. So thank you so much for that great, great chat. And what a great, great conversation, sir. Thank you so much.
thank you so much.
So that was yet another inspiring story at the Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories, an initiative of ET Edge. We'll keep coming up with many, many more such stories. And thank you so much once again.